upcoming candidates meet at a forum of the Oklahoma Democratic Party. Any party is welcome to have their candidates meet. That's not an issue. So far, it is Ron Marlette, Dax Eubank, Democrat, my dad, Democrat, Dax Eubank, Jess Eddy, and then Tom Gill, who's running for Congress.
Alright, so I think it's about 40 after. Let's get going here so we can eat our food and go home. We had a Cannabis Coalition East meeting about 2 weeks ago, and it was a pretty good turnout. Got a lot of new faces there. And I'll just give you guys the notes over that meeting, because this meeting is kind of some of the same issues we can discuss here. That's the idea, is we discuss basically whatever we discussed in East, as well as whatever you folks bring up. So who's new to this meeting? Has anyone not been here before? Okay, so welcome guys. This is the Cannabis Coalition. So we operate on a consensus method, so we all try to get together and agree and move forward with either deliberation over how to craft a petition and what laws to put in there, how far to go, etc. And so we're getting ready for a kickoff on April 12th. When we submit to the Secretary of State, and that means we'll start gathering signatures around May.
Will we be rallying in the Capitol when we turn it in?
Yeah, Joe Dorman is putting together a press conference right now on April 12th. Excellent. And that'll be like our kickoff press conference. And so we'll start gathering early May and we'll go through August. And so we need 86,000 signatures this year. We got around 70 last year and 75 in 2014, so it's definitely something we can do. It's within the realm of possibility. So.
Are we going to do something about security? Because as I understand it, weren't some petitions stolen?
Yeah, we can talk about that. We'll add that to the agenda list. So basically the agenda today is here's the agenda from the last meeting. One of the things is the last meeting everyone decided to change the restrictions for felons to make a difference between violent and non-violent felons. So within the MPP basically complained and said that theoretically a murderer could co-run in this country from prison after their 5 years, they served 5 years of time. So the Marijuana Policy Project, which is a DC think tank, and pretty much in the pockets of some large corporations. But regardless, it's not a completely illogical, criticism that they had. So what we decided to do is lower the restrictions on non-violent felons to 2 years. So there's a non-violent felony, it's 2 years, and increase the restrictions for violent felons to the end of their term, basically the same as if you were voting in the state, where you can vote after you're off paper, you're off probation only.
How is it defining violent and non-violent?
Just based how it is in the state statutes where they say non-violent felon. There's a classification.
It really is hard to determine sometimes. So it's going to is it going to refer back to the state statute?
The state statutes, as they reference it now, they don't say violent felon, but they have a classification for non-violent felon. So what we'll do is say non-violent felonies for 2 years. Every other felonies are to the term.
Here we go, sir.
So
would you like to
not
or anything?
commit a check or
More from
I'll probably take another one.
Yes.
yeah, it would be according to
I'll drink it probably fast, and I'll take several
Now,
extra
does this
frames
help
too if you
people
could.
who are already convicted under marijuana laws?
none of this is retroactive.
Okay.
So, well, I guess that would be technically because
Well, it's not really retroactive.
It's not
because
technically-
it takes effect immediately.
it would take effect immediately. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, exactly. Okay, and so that was and we can discuss that further or just consensus on that. And beyond that, there was no discussion of changes to the petition. We mostly talked about the logistics, basically. So part of what people want to do is increase the frequency of these meetings to every week. Now that we're getting close to the date for launch, and you don't have to attend every meeting.
Was that maybe every other week then effectively?
Yeah,
for us, but it'd be
east,
every
west,
week
east,
for
west.
you.
Yeah. And so that was another thing. So that can run the agenda. So security, and then the felonies, and then the And then that we discussed some other issues and mostly just kind of talked about our experiences for the new folks. So there wasn't a lot of other decisions made at that meeting. We want to do like training meetings. So one of the people that became a POC for that, Jill, and she's going to help put together like a training meeting after April 12th. So that's basically all the notes. And announcement-wise, we have 2 billboards that we're purchasing on Monday. One's going to be the second in Elgin and Tulsa, and the other one will be on Brookside in Tulsa. And so, based on demographics and density of plausible medical marijuana voters, those are the densest, most cost-effective areas to get the word out. We're submitting April 12th. That's set up, good to go, and so that means we'll kick off early May. If you were around 2014, it's basically the same process and timeline then. And that's about it. So does anyone else have anything they want to talk about today?
Mr. Creamer?
I have a question, Frank. So both billboards?
We'll be out in just a second.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee. No, wait,
It's too late, man. I mean, you guys get the rented office for the billboards.
Okay.
Because we're just going to be...
Have we signed the lease on the offices?
Not yet. We're going to do that. The plan is you guys get the office space, we get the billboards, because we have space in Tulsa, and then, but as far as density and demographics go, Oklahoma City's not as good.
Well, I mean, we'll just have to do it, like we did in 2014,
Flags and
Yeah,
flyers.
flags, I mean, and contacting the news stations and stuff. Yeah.
Where would you put a billboard sign up here in this area?
In the Blue Bubble, Paseo Plaza is where I would.
I'd say anywhere on North
Because that's the only district where Republicans don't dare run. So it tends to be the more liberal, open to it area.
And they'll, by word of mouth, spread it to their friends that don't live in that district?
Yeah.
I guess, that might be an idea for any of the LKC activists or anyone in that area, maybe when we start gathering or before we submit the petition, maybe we could go around trying to look for donations so we could pull together the money for a billboard in our area,
Do you
Check.
have
Well,
any idea on what the estimated cost would be?
What's the cost in Tulsa?
Well, depending upon the location, and also what you could do is get it for 2 months and then just kind of roll the dice for the 3rd month in the hope that no one will buy it to cover it up.
Yeah.
But it's basically $500 a month,
Okay.
and then $150 for setup.
That's really doable. We could totally get one. Like, we could come together. I'm sure probably pull that in today, but.
Well, the biggest issue is that it's a time frame, like you need to do it ASAP.
Yeah.
Because they take time to go through their process. I mean, we can get one on hold, but then you still, that's why we're paying on Monday, so we're good to go.
Well, if not soon, then maybe sometime within a month or two into the petition.
Yeah,
We
worst
always
comes
do
to
it
worst
later.
though,
Yeah.
once we have the signature count, we could use it to get people to come out and vote.
Yeah.
That would be
Good idea.
fantastic, because that's really show the support already in the business.
Yeah, last month.
Here's something
We're gonna have to vote for them to
Add to
vote,
the
and
agenda.
we're gonna say for done with those.
Yeah.
business locations.
Alright.
Oh, if I could say one more thing. Rick brought up the issue of petitions being stolen.
Yeah, I
Now
guess
that-
Well, that's on, we're gonna
Oh,
talk
we're gonna
about that
talk-
when we get on
We
the
can just-
agenda.
Well, I mean, does anyone else have anything they want to add?
I'll go into detail about the candidates for them.
Alright, and
I do. I would be willing to volunteer to help cover the cost of one of the Oklahoma City billboards.
okay.
If you'll research that.
Well, we have a relationship with Lamar, the billboard company.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing it for now, and they'll work with us.
I love
Okay.
that. So.
Any Lamar billboards.
We should do that. Checks are using same design, and then cost of set up.
Oh, yeah, so that we wouldn't have to do new art necessarily.
I've seen them.
So I'd say it's still different. Build a new vinyl.
Well, what is your artwork?
The billboard art? If you go to watch the latest video, it's kind of in there. There's a picture of it.
And that's
I only ask because it seems like some of the things Green is like that didn't stand out very good as far
This
as.
stands out really well. This is done
We
by
have
the
the
law professionals, and they did a pretty good job considering it.
Okay, who had what?
You got the chicken blouses over here?
Oh, here?
It's perfect.
Because like a lot of green lettering, I didn't
Oh,
I
yeah.
know green is green, but some of this stuff would have been better being like black lettering.
And it looks like a combo four. And they got your chicken purchase coming out here. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big typography and design nerd.
Burrito.
I'm not good at it.
Oh, it's a little more than Is that okay, would it make as much as I get for the money I have?
Because I'm thinking I just ate and I still want to.
Spinach and mushrooms tortilla. Oh, here.
How are you? Thank you.
You asked about the chicken flowers and I said over here, but then you took them somewhere else, didn't you? Oh, no. That would be
What is going on?
Did I get silverware too?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I'll take opinion and go right.
I don't care.
Okay, so chicken,
We'll at least have seeds in there. So I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I just started with sriracha. That's just like a nice
Did you get a queso?
And there's that.
Oh, no, but I think it's pizza. Would you like some pizza?
It's coming up, it's coming up. Wait, thank you. Tell everybody to another petition.
Oh, we just started.
First of all,
Yeah, Joe Dorman said yeah, same day, probably at the press conference, kind of, should be midday. Earlier, yeah. We can kind of decide, so as soon as we know the actual date, because it's not a day on Sunday. It depends, man, I mean, it's complicated. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Here, alright, so I guess there's no other agenda items. We can get started with the petition security subject. Or
See, the green vote, they were saying that they think something that happened to no positive just last year because KO was and then I heard that
day before my oldest son
still
would find out my dad had
you guys pay Oklahoma City, so it sounds like there's someone in Oklahoma City that's
it's theoretically feasible. I mean, one of the reports of stolen petitions was actually a volunteer that was like
this
picking
or
up.
something.
No, he was picking up petitions and like no one authorized him or like told him to do that and turning them back. So he was like going and being like, I got these signatures, basically.
Oh, trying to get credit or something?
Yeah.
And if I can say one more thing on this, there was, and a big part of this, what happened in Norman at least, was we put a petition into a business, and this owner just lied to us, saying that he had gotten all of these signatures and stuff, and then when we came, he said he lost them within the span of, 10, 15 minutes, and so that's something that,
Do you
I would
think that
say,
was sabotage, or do you think he was exaggerating?
I think he completely exaggerated because he was really adamant about his support, and then we gave him a petition, and I think he just was trying to cover his ass when we came back and he hadn't done anything, he hadn't gotten anything, And it also then probably didn't look good on his business, nobody came in. But anyway, if you put clipboard with those signatures or the petition in a business, I would just say be really careful because some of the businesses, like, you should probably know that business owner or a bit of frequent customer. Because sometimes it's just it's tricky,
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, based on our experiences with the businesses, like, we were gonna draw it back.
Still working.
You get 2 minutes
Two.
I
to
know.
manage, and then green development like ramps it up. So
Yeah.
we're gonna draw it way back. We're gonna have 1 to 2 businesses
Yeah.
per urban area where we know the people there. We know them well. We can trust them. We know
Yes,
that
every
every employee is a trained signature gather. They have to all be trained. And they'll have to constantly watch. They can't it has to be in an area where there's a clerk at all the time. They can't just wander off with the customer and leave on the.
Well, it actually belongs to them. Each person gathering signatures, it belongs to them. And so like if you have 4 employees at a store, each one of them needs to maintain their own one.
Yeah.
But we do need to do something like that with businesses, because she mentioned BS Unlimited. I know they got well over 1,000 signatures last time, so we need to, now is Juliet still gonna be involved this time?
Yeah.
She is, right?
Yes.
So she'll probably coordinate with them.
Yeah, that's her.
I would say you probably want at least 1 per sector though, if you can. By sector, I would say like if you divide Oklahoma City in 4, you probably want 1 in each of the 4 quadrants, because and this goes back to part of why I want to talk about business locations. Any of us out gathering signatures out on a street corner, anywhere, we should know the closest business location to us. Like when I was working Southern Oaks, that was a mile. That's a library in Oklahoma City. That was a mile from BS Unlimited. Everyone I talked to, I told them that, tell their friends, because I won't always be set up at this library location, tell their friends to go to the business location. And so, as you collect signatures, you can multiply the number of signatures that actually come in by getting the people that sign with you to tell other people to go to a business location. And I think that's a good practice for, and actually you'll probably have on the website business locations, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a map, online map that includes all the business locations, as well as if you're a signature gatherer, you can log on with your phone and then say, okay, I'm gathering signatures. And then it will geolocate your phone and then put you on that live map. So then people will be able to literally see you walking around at a festival and
So far,
track
I
it.
don't have a phone to do that with,
Well,
but no, that's good. But no, I was gonna say is, thank goodness that, we can send anyone to your website to find a business location near them.
just go to ok4h.com, it's gonna be like the first thing I see.
Is that our website just for this
One
OK
of
for
them.
H?
There's dozens, ok4h.com.
No, but OK for H is the
ok4h.com.
shortest. Yeah.
So there's different ways to.
Is this yours or did you bring me?
That is
yours?
yours. That's yours.
Oh, yeah. So, another issue on security, I kind of agree with what you're saying as far as businesses go. In Tulsa, we're going to have three permanent locations. We're going to have Owasso, which is far north. We're going to have downtown, which is my garage. And then we're going to have South Tulsa, which is High Gravity. And I know all 3 of those locations. I know we are all the employees. They're all trained. We
I'm
trust all.
assuming you guys don't need to do it.
And if we can pull that same thing off in Oklahoma City, with say maybe 4 business locations that we know
It's for
are trustworthy and
And actually, we want more than 4, there's also an admin location you
Yeah.
can get as well.
yeah. So every major.
And I'm sure with you, you'll want a Chiefs location or something there.
Well, also,
Chiefs.
you could pretty easily take the creek over to High Gravity. It's just a matter of logistics more than management.
Now, are you guys going to print all the petitions like OK, or like Green the Vote did?
Yeah, I mean, that's how we do it.
Well, no, because last time you guys let people print their own,
Yeah, we'll do
that was
that.
kind of a disaster. Because
No, that
Yeah.
was we made
they were
a,
printing on the wrong styles.
that was a fraction of a fraction.
Yeah, but any of those wasted signatures.
But you're gonna have 20 to 40% error rate no matter what. You just consider that part of the error rate. The question is, by tightly controlling distribution, how much do you lose from people that, you know, could go down the street, print it off, and then hit the streets, you know, that day, versus somebody that, okay, well now they have to wait for it to come out of the mail, or go track you down physically, find, you know, wherever inconvenient location you're at. And also, they're available online publicly on the Secretary of State website. So, no, it's a totally printable format. It is the legal format that's designed for, they literally take the documents you submit and then they dump them on the website. You can go there, you can print them straight from there and start, I mean, that's where this came from, was the SOS. I didn't actually contact their campaign. So, like, it's already public, so anyone, you know, that knows how to find it will, so we might as well help everyone else in the middle that kind of knows how to find it.
Would you like water?
Yes. If they put it on the wrong paper, it won't be counted.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
But that was a small portion.
We're talking about lawyers did that too. Lawyers formatted, like on a square piece of paper. I don't even know where he got that paper. You know, like Krieger and law. I've never used Krieger and law. I'm sorry, but like, anyway.
Believe me, I have known a lot of. You gotta remember, the guy that graduated at the bottom of his class is still called a lot. Just like doctors.
So I don't know, what do you guys think about making it public versus tightly controlling distribution?
Public.
Public.
I think it should be an option for the signature cabinet.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to.
There's some of us that are comfortable with using businesses as well.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about print one though, because it's gotta be on legal pages.
Just allowing people.
That's obvious.
When you say it was obvious, some lawyer printed it on a square piece of paper. You
Well,
said,
I didn't
so.
say it was smart. I said it was obvious. That's all.
Alright, well, I think, yeah, and that's kind of what we're going with. I think
Then I
that,
printed all of mine whenever I did it.
and you did it through it, right?
I took Kinko's and hold
Oh,
the
good.
ordinance.
She's not a lawyer. Figured it out.
Really?
I'm wondering about, for all us OKC people, I guess with that list, I'll probably shoot everybody a group text later about like a Facebook group that we can all join, so that, you know, whenever we do drop a petition, like I'm gonna go buy a bunch of reams of legal paper and print up stuff, you know, and so if you want, you could come and get your petitions from me. I'm in Norman, or I'll meet you in
And I can keep
OKC.
some.
And Chelsea's gonna have some if you don't want to go to Norman, if you're just in OKC.
And I'm in the Bethany Warriors area for
Well,
anybody.
ideally, I know you're not into a lot of control, but you ought to start setting up Facebook groups for each of the local chapters. Like maybe one per county at least.
It's a lot to go through, it is.
To be honest, I don't know, I did consider setting up a, actually like an Oklahoman's for Help forum that had away from Facebook, but, I mean, the individual, like.
It's good for the groups. Well, maybe you don't set them up, but you should maintain a link for anyone that wants to find their local group, if there is a local Facebook.
But then it becomes an issue of maintaining those. So if I'm a person in, say,
Well, it sounds like
prior,
maintain
but
one.
what about like the prior group or whatever? I mean, I see what you're saying. Maybe if somebody individually wants to do that, maintain it.
For their area.
But I don't want to like set up 72 county like pages and they're all empty.
You might not even be
Right.
able one in the county, but
Yeah.
no, you ought to keep a link to anyone that exists.
Yeah.
I don't think we have Facebook on there a lot.
East and west.
But I'll,
I run it.
All right, everybody else got done together?
I think it's slow
For like hotel or all that.
Consensus.
well, I'm gonna try to contact everybody on that list that, you know, that I had everybody wrote down.
Well,
I'll leave a message.
let's get back to it. So I know crosstalk is fun, but no one on the video will know what we're talking
out there.
Is there a video?
Yeah, it's filming over there, man. So, yeah. So I think security wise we're good. We had issues, but
Actually, security-wise, are we going to try and send our documents to you on a fairly regular basis? Like Tulsa will be the repository? In other words, I don't think we should keep like 10,000 signatures in the city. They ought to.
no, we want people like mail them in, drive them in, you know, drop them off at the OKC office.
Yeah, like we're gonna have a physical OKC office, so, you know, I can drop those off, and I've got a pretty flexible work schedule, so I'll probably be taking regular drives up to Tulsa. Any, you know, OKC people are more than welcome to come with me too, and
Well, if he's really coming, are you really going to be here every other week during the petition drive? Or is that pre-petition?
Once the petition hits, you will never see me unless you come to my garage and I'll.
So every other week is
That's you
before
guys.
the petition? Well, no, you
Yeah,
said.
yeah, the Cannabis Coalition meetings, yeah, we might not even do those when it happens. I mean, we may have like, you know,
Like
meetings,
monthly,
like,
maybe.
yeah, like, hey, let's get together and, you know, evaluate what we're doing kind of thing, but I don't know that we need to.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're here, we'll just give them to you when you're here.
Yeah, that would, or Eric, or anyone else that stops
Hey.
by.
yes, how much are
Is it? Okay. Still involved. He's the one paying those guys on Monday.
Nice.
Alright, so yeah, as far as security goes, mailing petitions is definitely the best way to do it. And here's the deal, we're just gonna hand out sheets with the signatures like this, okay? And then afterwards, we staple them all together. And the reason for that
What?
is, yeah, that's legal that way.
No, it's not, you have to have the petition.
No, sir.
dispatched.
It all has
Yes, we
to
have
be-
the petition right here. It's here, but you don't need one copy for every sheet. You just have to have one on hand. Yep. And so,
Are
because
you sure that's how the law is?
the issue, when you turn them in, it has to be stapled, every petition. And then they go through and they throw them away. But like immediately. But that's the law. I mean, that's what we did in 2014. No issue.
I'll double read that then, because I just wanted that when circulating, they have to be attached.
Well, it is attached.
It's just, when you're circulating, you just have to have one copy. Another copy? Yes, 6 names. As with any of the actual signature sheets, you can just staple that, but then when we get to the final days, yeah, then we're gonna have to go through and.
We're gonna be doing that beforehand.
Yeah.
That's why we want to mail them in first. And that's why mailing this single sheet in with you notarized correctly and everything doesn't cost anything as compared to like 20 sheets, right? So that's why we don't want you stapling them on there.
Well, unless you have to, which, like I said, I'm gonna reread that language. But speaking of which, I know we had trouble with agreeing the vote, that people were turning in their stupid petition pages and they weren't notarized, and we can't put up with that crap, so.
Well, you just tell people to notarize them.
Well, because I know one person even just had them show up on their doorstep.
Yes, when we turn them in, they have to be notarized.
On the back here, and this is way easier than 2014. In 2014, we had to print everyone's name, or it didn't count. So that means if you couldn't read somebody's name, we had to sit there for 30 minutes trying to figure out yes, sir. and then write it on the back. So
I remember messaging people pictures going, can you read this?
yeah, so we were already this year like, all right, we have the strategy for that, and then they just got rid of it. So anyways,
Get rid of it, the names on the front.
that would have been nice in 2014. But the name in the front in 2014 too.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
also on the back.
Yeah.
And they discounted signatures.
You guys today.
And so basically you gotta have this part.
Dale. Yeah. I'm Scott. Scott, it's a pleasure.
Meet you too. Notarized for free.
Hey guys, I hate to cut in. I used to go though, but I'll say my name's on the paper. Still on paper. I have my phone number on there. It's like starts with a weird area code. It's not from here.
Alright.
Anything I can do to be a help. I'm usually free from work and other stuff about 1 day a week. I have no problem driving, walking, whatever. So anything that's needed, man, you guys hit me up.
Thanks for saying. We will. Oh, yeah. Well, this is the criminal justice report petition that we signed this. Just sign both.
But going back to notaries, everyone knows that most people's banks will notarize for them for free, right? Apparently not all banks, but most banks do. Because I know, Bank First, I believe, will do that, so will Chase.
Where are you saying? Yeah, credit unions will, and if you would like to do that, we will subsidize that. We have what we just paid for a lot of that's the easiest way to do it.
Ironically, it's not universal, because one guy last time, his bank only charged like $5 a page or something notarized. So if your bank does that, your bank is a jerk.
Alright, so the next agenda item, the felonies issue. So we changed the felonies, everybody put that down to 2 years for nonviolent, and all the other felony classifications are increased to the time, basically the time spent or time on paper. Anyone have any issues with that or others?
It seems a little draconian to me. What I would have done, because you said there are people worried that they could be running dispensaries from inside prison? Was that
Basically,
the
the
concern?
MPP said that under the current law, a murderer who's serving a life term could.
The proposal they got, the way they interpreted it.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is simply, I'm fine for the 2 years for nonviolent. Why not 5 years for violent, and you have to be on probation? So if you're still in jail, you can't run a dispensary.
Well, that's what it is. That's what we're saying we changed it to. So right now,
Oh, no,
the
you
law-
changed it to completion.
Yeah, sentence. Sorry. So basically, it's not felons can never get a license. It's the same law. The law would be in line with what felons, what they get for voting, right? So once they're off paper, once they're not on probation or any part of their sentence anymore.
If they're violent.
If
If
they're
non-violent,
for
for 2
non-
years.
yeah, for violent. But they don't. Yeah, but basically not non-violent.
Well, was Connie at the last meeting?
Yeah, that's the way to put it.
Yeah.
Was Connie at the last meeting? Because she's the one who really felt strongly about this.
Yeah, no, and she was not at the Tulsa meeting, but this is kind of also based on, because she was talking about, how the 5 years she preferred that versus what was the other alternative. And so, I mean, we'll pass this by her, but I don't think she'll have an issue with lowering the penalties for non-violent felons. I think that's really who she's talking about more than anyone else in that case.
But I personally feel like if you're out on probation, I have no problem if you serve 5 years, you know.
Yeah.
I can see not wanting to let someone, although really I wouldn't even care if a lifetime murderer was running a dispensary out of his freaking prison cell. Why do we even care that I know it's political, right?
Well, it's one of those things where this is one of those things they could put a negative attack at and be like, you know, here's some, mass murderer, running a
Charles Manson
selling their
dispensary.
So, I don't know, you're right though, we should
She
pass
feels
this by.
strongly about it. If she feels real strongly, consider then saying instead of completely serving your sentence 5 years and on probation or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't necessarily think you should be a cannabis business owner in prison. Unless you're an owner before you go to prison.
Alright, so yeah, I think we're good there, and I'll send Connie an email and just make sure she's, if she doesn't want to block that.
Because she is really adamant about that stuff.
Yeah, she's right. So, alright, so the next agenda item, meetings. Does anyone have any problem with, so it's April now, we have 10 days basically until we submit. And then after that, 20 to 30 days till we start gathering signatures. So, does anyone have an issue with increasing the frequency of these meetings to every week until we launch?
Are they going to accomplish anything when we have meetings every week?
Well,
What's the purpose?
have a chance of having more people.
And making sure that everybody's trained correctly and they know exactly what to do and how to run and everything.
Yeah, and on that issue, like we talked about doing trainings, basically turning them into training meetings.
Done with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to actually east-west.
Done with that?
So maybe like
So training,
so it'd be like training, like role playing is one of the big things we could do because a lot, you know, you'd be a signature gatherer, you'd be a cop or whatever, and then we have interactions between each other. Like training people will show you how to do it, and then we're going to take videos.
to training though, I was gonna say you need to get videos also to put up so people can train off of the OK for each stuff.
Yeah. So, unless anyone wants to block that, we're doing it. I'm sorry.
We're good. We'll leave it to go down.
Alright,
One
so,
suggestion about meetings or trainings or whatever.
yeah.
Apparently, OK for H is gonna have to kick in $50 to be in this room today.
Yeah, we're
Anyway, what I was gonna say is, look into Gaddytown down the road about 2 miles.
yeah.
I don't know that they charge for their meeting rooms. You can ask them. I know Oklahoma's for health bet there, and it's a pretty good pizza buffet too. So.
What's it called?
Gaddytown, yeah.
Alright.
It's a place that also has like go-karts inside and stuff. It's a Mr. Gaddy's, basically, if you remember that old pizza joint. Oh yeah, food's good too, but I know they have a bunch of meeting rooms, so you might be able to get those for free.
I'll check that out. Yeah, I mean, if you know any free meeting rooms, please let me know, because they're hard to come by.
Although it could be wrong, but
They probably charge. Anyways, so basically starting, we'll probably just starting here from 12. So business locations. Does anyone have anything to discuss on that?
I think I'm the one that put that on there. And mainly the thing I want to discuss, I think we've already hit on business locations. And that is, we need at least a few scattered around each of the big cities. You're talking about 3 in Tulsa, 3 or 4 here in Oklahoma City would be nice. And then, like I said, when you're actually out there canvassing for signatures, literally tell everyone that signs that they can have their friends go to X location, which is near where you're signing. So wherever you're doing signatures that day, find out where your closest business location is so that you can, because presumably most of those people will be from that area, so you can send a lot of people, or at least their friends, to that location and multiply one signature into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, and I know of 3 businesses that would like to hold a petition.
Well, that may go against what he wants to do. He's talking about limited locations.
Tag office in Langley, smoke shop up around Grand Lake, and there's a big speed liquor store owner that would like to have a petition in her store.
Oh, good, so it's spread out then. Cool.
Yeah, I think the key is just not having a bunch in the same area.
Right.
So you don't, it's just kind of a waste.
Right.
And you do realize that each person is responsible for petitions. So
Right.
if 2 people are working in a business, they each
2
have to have their
petitions,
own
right.
petition. And they should really take them with them whenever they go home from work. They shouldn't leave them up there where someone else can sign them.
Yeah, you can also, maybe just like initial your petition or something.
Well, I keep track of it.
Yeah, just keep track of it. There's nothing, you can make all sorts of stains and marks on them, and they'll still accept them.
Well, actually, I heard there was some issue from bars where there was, you don't know. But you're actually swearing that you got each one of those signatures. That's why you need to keep it for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're at bars and stuff, you don't want people tearing chunks of paper out of the petition. Apparently that happened, and people, were writing notes on them and stuff. Any of that stuff's a no-no. Only signatures and stuff.
Yeah. That's for sure. All right. So So yeah, business locations, I'll send you a message, Pam, like,
Okay.
when we start aggregating that. Just get those from you.
Because they did last time and they want to do it anytime it's up and running.
Alright, cool.
Now, were you working with Georgia Wood at all? I thought there was something about, something from a few months ago about she's gonna help you guys out or something.
No. There was some confusion as to who I was. I'm Georgia.
And they thought
There
you
was
were
some
Georgia
confusion
Wood.
as to who I was, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there was apparently, there's all of a sudden there was just a Georgia and everybody's like, wait, hang on.
Yeah, because you
Wait.
Georgia was there, and I'm like,
Are you talking
who?
everywhere? Yeah, so apparently that was a little bit of a confusion.
Oh, the only reason I brought her up, she did organize an event at Bourbon Street to collect signatures where it was like a kind of an all-day party and people were signing. So if she was gonna be working with you guys again, I was gonna say, find out if that was gonna happen again.
As far as I know, yes, but you know, volunteers.
I'm sorry, what?
Rule of thumb is going to be don't work with drunk.
Oh,
I
he said it.
generally don't like bars for that reason. Although I'll take a drunk over someone on Molly any day because I was collecting signatures down at the Cox
Did they
Center.
edit it?
No, but they were at the Cox Center and they were going to have a bunch of paint dumped on them, and some of the signatures were completely illegible, and I think it's because they were so out of their mind on Molly.
Well, that's pretty much how it is at any bar or music festival or drug and alcohol use. You're gonna have a much lesser percentage of legible signatures, and that's why if you want to do events like that, get there early. And hit people up before they go to the venue, or get there like music festivals when the families are out and stuff. Because we went to music festivals and like wandered into encampments trying to get signatures. Boy, howdy, that was fun. So, yeah, mostly they just stare like blank stares when you're talking about it. But
Because
like,
at the Chesapeake Center, when people were going to some hard rock concert, they were great for signatures. And actually, the Insane Clown Posse was great for signatures.
Yeah,
So I think if you get them going into a concert, it's not that big of a deal.
any event where there's a lot of people, it's a good place to get signatures.
I won't be able to, we should look into getting a booth at OKC Pride.
Yes. And also another thing, we have people, sorry to just dump this out there, but we have people like organizing booths at different festivals, like, well, not much Easter Island, but like, because we're not running yet, but like a promo booth. We're going to have booths at like, Rocklahoma's full, but we're just going to set up anyways. We've got a booth at like Pride before, both Pride festivals. So Center of the Universe Festival. So if you know of any like festivals like Chelsea does, just go do it yourself, man. Like set it up.
I mean, literally, in Billboards, all I did was take a lawn chair and a sign and a petition, and I would just plop down wherever I wanted to. Typically along a sidewalk somewhere.
When is the Oklahoma City Pride Festival?
Typically around June 19th-ish.
We want to do that.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
Awesome,
We
yeah,
want
I
that.
can do
We
something,
want
I
that.
can do it for like
We want that.
extended.
Yeah, we want that. For sure.
Policy correct.
And,
It's typically around my birthday.
25th to June 26th.
Oh, they went long later. this year.
Wow. Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll do evenings if you guys want to do days.
Next time, we'll take it, and I'll walk around. We'll take it. Oh yeah.
Cool.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I can't do that. I can,
Totally.
but I cannot do something for.
Hey, the
like,
leather
shit.
guard is awesome.
And you don't care where we go, right? Because I'm going to talk to the Bourbon Strip guy, because he apparently owns a couple of strip bars, and he wanted people to work the strip bars. And I'll sacrifice myself for
Take those
that.
tips.
Dude, as long as you do it, I'm
We'll
not.
take the strip clubs too. We are just.
It's like the month of June.
We'll take it to your church too. Everyone.
Everyone you want to stay
Everyone.
at each church?
Yeah, that would be
Everyone is gonna be covered.
And everybody else still doing okay to go watch that?
It was good. I think it was like
I have
Usually less than $5.
but $4 and that's quarters.
So, yeah, I think any events are good. Just be smart, you know, and like avoid drunk people. You know, get there early.
My favorite, like lady was like, you couldn't stand it up, but was bound and determined to sign, but she did it legibly, so I couldn't complain too much.
You never know, man. Some people are just like idiots and aunts.
Now, the Billboards festival in downtown Oklahoma City was huge. I actually got more signatures there than at the Reggae Fest.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You can never be really certain. Like, if you see an event, you say that's not a medical cannabis event, you'll go there and you'll get more signatures than other events you think are medical cannabis events. Like Reggae Fest, terrible. Didn't work at all. Like, we went out to the Woody Guthrie Festival, and they put us in the front of the entrance and like showered us with praise. So, you know, try everything. Even church events. Like what we didn't get in 2014 was churches and church events. We did go to Rima Bible Church and during one of their events.
4th of July.
4th of July, and they first things first, they threw us off the property, and then they went and told the cops to arrest us.
You expected something different?
When we were on the public
I was just
easement.
hoping you weren't.
And the cops were just like, sorry, we can't do anything. They're on the public easement. And yeah, the little organizer in his golf cart was not pleased. So I'll tell you what, man, we are more militant than other groups. So like, if you go seize the public easement, man. It is your right, it is your liberty to be there, to you know, utilize your First Amendment right on that public property. Do it. I don't care who you piss off, as long as you get the signatures. Now, once we get into the phase for getting out the vote, stop pissing people off, please. But like, until then, you know, it doesn't matter.
Well, but you need to be careful. At least right now, Oklahoma City Police do not consider land next to the streets
public easement
in the fairgrounds.
All right. Well, who?
No, in the fairgrounds. Even though they are city streets.
Oh, they literally just talked.
When you
Sure they are. They even have street signs.
No, you can rent public streets and turn them into private property. That's what we did at 3 Oklahoma. Basically, you permit the land, and then it's yours for that permitted period. Sorry, what
I just want to. He said it's police, and I just want to, you know, drive home the fact that, yeah, we can totally be on the public easement. And if anybody doesn't know what the public easement is, it's just usually a strip of grass or land in between a sidewalk and a road. You can be there, you know. You can almost always be on that little strip of land between a sidewalk and a road. So assert your rights. You know,
But you can't block the sidewalk.
Yeah, you can't block a sidewalk. You can't block a handicap ramp. You can almost always be there. So don't let anybody push you off there unless somebody comes up and says, "This is my private property. I'm calling cops right now." Even in that situation, sometimes I've been in a situation where it wasn't their private property. Never mind. You know,
even if it is their private property, they don't have the right to push you off the public easement.
But I go back to inside the fairgrounds area, there are places that look like public easement, but the cops will arrest you.
Well, that's that's different because it's not a normal operating like for that streets. When the county or you know whoever the county fair board or whatever, which is I don't know quasi public.
Well, I don't mean during the fair. I mean anytime.
I'll go get arrested if you just show me where to be.
I just want to make sure.
Well, that's the whole point. We're not going to pay our legal bills. So if it comes to the point where a cop is going to arrest you, even if you're right, I don't know that you should stay. Unless you want to pay your own legal bills.
That's when it's up to you as an individual. All right. Personally, I tried to get arrested in 2014 because again,
you couldn't. I can get you arrested.
Well, here's the all right. In Norman, the police threatened Willie.
Yes.
In a certain area, and I showed up the next day. I said, "Come arrest me, guys," and they didn't show up. So you know, they'll threaten you, but it's up at that point. It's your individual choice. No one has been arrested for signature gathering, and if you are, man, like it's good for us.
Yeah, it only makes
them look stupid. Gives us way more PR. That's all good. And not only that, we get to go have a nice jury trial.
I was going to say,
You know?
Exactly.
And like that jury trial is going to just show the hypocrisy of everything. So,
Yeah, but it can waste a lot of your time and possibly money, so that's.
yeah, so it's an individual choice. We're not gonna like force you to get arrested.
Yeah, like I'm not.
No, I know that.
I love
You
this
guys
spot.
are.
I will guarantee that we will be able to crowdfund your legal fees without issue. There's gonna be more than enough money, $5, $10, $20
This is a
to
very
go
good
for you to cover one.
I can't see them like.
Or just get one person.
We'll cover his fees then.
One they tried to sit here, one tried to hold right.
All right, so I think, yeah, but those are all really, really good points as far as arrest goes. But to be honest, other than Oklahoma City, I don't think that'll be much of an issue.
No.
The ACLU sent, when TPD was giving us a lot of issues in 2014 and threatening people with arrest, the ACLU sent them a letter, and since then they just backed
Oklahoma
off.
City's not an issue. The only issue here is the fairgrounds.
Okay.
So
And I mean, I did-
anywhere else you're fine.
I just,
Hope that we're not making anybody feel like you're gonna walk outside and petition to get arrested.
I've
So
never,
not
ever,
gonna
ever even had a cop talk to me other than to sign.
We only had one
So-
issue, we only had like one issue in Ardmore, and honestly, the police were just, they were very supportive.
Yeah.
Green the
Overall,
Hood
in
and
Ardmore, they're
one
very
issue.
supportive. But when it comes to
Or Newcastle.
when it comes to bigger places and there's more police officers and it's not as mom and pop and, you know, friends next door kind of thing, that's when it changes into something a little darker, I guess.
No, Oklahoma City's
Because,
fine.
we do have one person that was arrested, but of course, they were able to get them on something else, but they were arrested, the officer said, oh yeah, by the way, that person is with.
In Ardmore, right?
Yes, sir.
Didn't you say it was like your son or something, or somebody's son? Yeah.
What's going on, Isaiah? As a matter of fact,
You have something to say?
and he was running a petition.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one that was arrested, it's that kid. So, yeah, but that was, and he was actually arrested by an officer I didn't know. So that was the sad part of it.
But
And he was arrested on our street.
Oklahoma City sounds like it's actually cooler than Tulsa.
Oh, no, what you saying?
You don't want to talk to me about that.
Don't ask the anarchist, what are you doing?
Anyways,
Did you
like,
put some of
as
the
far as
room on our
the
ticket?
Oh,
arrest
about that.
goes, like, I had
Wouldn't let me
cops break
split
the
it,
law
but I have
to
to check
sign
for the
it.
room if y'all want to
Like
split it.
legally,
Okay.
sign it in their uniform, which is also illegal. So, you know, I'm not too worried. It's Tulsa Police Department, I know of entire squadrons that are for us because one of the officers has two sisters that both have criminals. And one of them uses and the other one doesn't, and like you can literally tell a 90-day difference between one of them's in the hospital all the time and one of them has a
I know what you're talking about, that all makes sense now.
and
Okay.
like, I'm not gonna.
No, I won't say names, but it clicked, I'm like, oh, that's what I know you're talking about.
So Tulsa, just please support us. The next agenda item, candidates forum, you want to go over that?
Here's the one room.
Oh, yes.
And it didn't let me split it, so I had to put on one check, but if y'all want to.
That's okay.
On April 20th, from 6 to 8 p.m., we are having a candidates forum for any candidate, no matter the party, who supports medical marijuana or legalization in general. So far, we have Jess Eddy, Ron Marlette,
Here's for the room.
Tom Guild, and Dax Eubank are going to speak. I'm still recruiting, still seeing who's comfortable coming out and talking about that. But I'd hope for everybody to come. The suggested donation is $10 because we're going to split whatever's raised between the candidates to help support their campaigns and help them get elected. April 20th. Very intentional.
Where?
We're gonna be in Colorado.
It's going to be at the Oklahoma Democratic Headquarters, which is located at 4100 North Lincoln. It's north of the Capitol. 6 to 8. And there is a Facebook event. It's on the Oklahoma Coalition to End Prohibition page.
Alright, so what you thought was about 250?
Yeah. I'll put it on my card. So,
Sir, I never saw mine for my drink.
Wait, you drink? Oh. No, it's fine.
It's just a drink.
Alright.
Well, bring me another margarita.
Alright, so the next agenda item is the clipboard.
Yeah, what I want to, that was my item, and what I want to say about clipboards are a couple of things. May not be as big of a deal if we don't have to have the full petition stapled to the signature page like Green the Vote did, but I'd say that's still pending since I want to read the language. But what I did was I actually would fold multiple copies where that just the signature page was available. And then that way you just pulled one off and you had one ready right underneath it to keep going, because in a good signature situation, it's literally going that fast.
Yeah.
But the main thing I want to say about clipboards is I encourage you guys to come up with a little bit of artwork for 8 by 11's the normal size paper. Right, but anyway, what Green the Vote did, and I think it was a good idea, was they came up with a little thing that you could print off, or you can print them off, or whatever, that we taped to the back that said, medical marijuana petition. So actually the back of your clipboard functioned as a sign.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And so that helped market it, because you could just be holding up to people as they go by and they could see what you were doing.
Yeah, we could buy some stickers.
Doesn't even have to be stickers. But yeah, some that goes on the back, and I use like the clear
Tape.
packing tape or something to put them on there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of artwork on the clipboards from last year. I thought that's talking about first from board people, but yeah. No, I think just having a sign right there.
That says like medical marijuana petition or something like that. That definitely helps you market.
That sounds like, something that each of us could do on our own at home with our clipboard.
Well, that's also
And
fine
now they're all
too.
kind of unique.
But I'm just putting an idea out there so that you don't have a blank clipboard.
Sure.
I like it. And actually, I thought the one that Green the Vote had too much busyness on there. I think just in big black letters, medical marijuana petition is probably better than having a bunch of decoration.
Less is more.
At least one leaf.
Just one, I mean,
Half the paper on. Oh, I like that leaf.
That flag draws more attention than anything.
Yeah.
it does.
Which flag?
It
The
does.
one with the snakes?
The red, yeah,
Pretty much any of them.
the medical insignia.
Well, actually, I think some people get pissed off by the flag one. Yeah, it's of the U.S. flag.
There
I
are
think that's a
people
turn
up in
on
Tulsa
for
who
people.
got red.
You got to be kidding me.
In 2014,
Oh, no, they were saying they
We
were
had one flag,
Yeah.
people are design that made some people angry, so we put it on the website this time, saying, we want to sign, please don't take that flag, but any other flag will come.
I one guy tried to run me over.
Really? The one that looked like the U.S. flag?
Well, first of all, he screamed at me out of the car, and then he screamed at my cousin, who's a Marine, who was holding the flag. And then I started telling him he doesn't know the uniform code. I'm not violating the uniform code. This is not an American flag. And then
Right, because there's no
his
red,
buddy
white, or blue
jumped
in
out
it.
of the car in the middle of traffic and threw his sandwich down on the hood. And then
He was
and then
serious.
he started yelling.
Desecrated a sandwich?
And so, anyways, then they sped off, and then they came back coming the other way, and I'm standing on the corner, and they went up on the curb, and I had to jump out of the way.
Wow.
And if they'd gone a little bit further, they would hit the pole pretty hard. But
I'll tell you what's bad is the fact that in Ardmore we had the black and white ones, the whole time too. Black and white flags, people thought they were ISIS flags, no kidding. They thought they were ISIS flags. They thought they were ISIS flags, no kidding. Yeah, we will not even find one in Ardmore. Ever again, ever.
But if ISIS is going to attack anywhere, it's going to be Ardmore.
Actually,
Right?
to those vinyl Oklahoma for Help vinyl things that you had, I didn't necessarily think those graphics were that good. And I know I didn't like the Green the Vote ones either, because they kind of bury the lead that it's medical marijuana petition.
well, those are
Yeah, I just
it's about branding, really. It's just you saturate people with the logo enough.
Now, is there still some
Always
hope that
adjust
you'll
to
be
the
providing
needs.
some pop-ups and tables? Because I know that's what was discussed back last August.
We'll probably have some, like the OKC office, you can hit up, like, you know.
No, that's what they were talking about doing last August.
No, yeah, we'll buy some and throw them. They're
He's like,
expensive.
I don't want it.
Oh, I know.
They just don't last long.
Well, I'm mainly a gorilla guy. I was just walking around places for the most part.
And another issue with the signature booths is a lot of people start to think, well, I've already done that, you know, and not.
You gotta tell them.
Most of them.
Yeah. They think
It's
it's
nuts.
Can you get signage that makes it clear that it's an entirely new process? That's what we're gonna have to do. I mean,
We are gonna have trouble.
It really is. It
What she
really
brings
is.
up is trouble because there's gonna be tons of people that think I already signed. And I don't know what we do to overcome that.
But
Your billboards also.
anybody that knows that we're gonna get this done in one round.
Well, hold on. You go and then
Oh,
Lily.
you,
Go
just
ahead.
a sign saying New Year, new petition.
That's good. New Year, new petition.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, let's just put 2016 on it. Yeah.
but then again, people who signed late last year would probably go, oh, it's the same way because it was December.
I guess, yeah, maybe do.
I had people that from 2014 that thought we didn't need to sign. So I guarantee there'll be an issue.
Yeah, it will be. But I mean, there's always people, dude. I talked to one of the people circulating the sales tax petition, and she didn't know who Bernie Sanders was. And he's, you know, one of the main running
Has
candidates.
there been online petitions? Because I keep hearing
No.
people saying that they signed an online petition.
There are online
That's-
petitions.
All the time, but they don't work.
They're meaning.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, I will only sign a petition online if it's actually one of like the White House ones, because then I know something might actually happen from it.
It's a temperature check for people to do about that. That's
Yeah.
that most of them.
It's a what?
It's a temperature check on how the demographic feels about certain issues.
Okay.
But that's the most of them can do to nothing legal, legislative.
And lawmakers, you can
And also
petition
depends
it
on
to the
petitions
lawmaker,
for
they
other
can ignore it.
countries to do something.
So, all right.
I used to sign a lot of it.
The clipboards, it's a good idea. Thanks for bringing
Honestly,
that up, Rick.
money back.
The last issue on the agenda is the DUI thing. Everyone was arguing about it first, so we can just discuss that more and then wrap it up. You guys want? So unless somebody else has.
Well, I disagree. That's a separate topic for the petition. I can understand why you're leaving it out politically, but it's really going to just screw people in the end. Because there's no way if this gets passed into law, there's no way you're going to get people together in the same volume for another petition to try and address that.
Well, part of the reason that's why we're trying to do two petitions is so that within a year of time, you don't need the same groundswell or, you know, density.
And of course, you know my petition, if I'm out doing guerrilla petitioning, I'm just taking the marijuana one. If I'm at a table, I'll have two petitions, but I'm not gonna try and keep up with two petitions walking around and like a concert.
That's your choice.
No, it's totally my choice. That's the beauty of being a volunteer.
Correct.
Go for it.
All right. So,
We support that.
Get it done.
yeah, we do support everyone here doing whatever they want. As far as that, as long as you represent them professionally. Like beyond that, I do not care.
I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
Professionally,
I guess you're
not
saying-
insulting races.
Some people are wearing what, hot sunglasses or something. I guess that's not professional.
I mean,
That's different, man. Because it's like, hey, you're gonna bring people in. You know, if you're trying to like attract them with the right crowd, that might work great. But you don't want to go to a Sunday mass wearing your hot glasses. You know, you're
Darn.
you know, you're
No, wear 'em.
It's about
Sounds like
being.
my kind of.
if I ever went to a Sunday mass, he'd give me inspiration.
Now you know what to
I already know
wear.
I'm gonna get struck down the minute I walk through, so.
Well, no, God made cannabis.
Yeah, but I'm atheist, so.
Thank you.
Well, back to the DUI thing. I mean, in my mind, like, what we did is we took Mike's suggestion, we basically removed everything and said anything about the impairment. So it's just the issue of possession, and everything else can go through the case court system, and then deal with case law. So, I don't know. You guys gotta keep in mind that this entire petition is also geared to, once we get the second petition that extends our time from 90 days to 1 year, the constitutional limit becomes possible. Like, it's impossible now because we're restricted by time. It's not people don't want it, it's just we don't have the money to gather that many signatures in 90 days. Once you have a year, dedicated folks like Georgia and, Tricia and Clint that always shows up every meeting, and, all these people that are showing up all the time, like, we can pull off in a year 150,000 signatures. That's not hard. So, these things like the impairment issue and the DUI issue, we can figure out a better law and then put that in the actual constitution where they can't touch it. And that's kind of where I'm seeing, like, if we're not sure about something, let's leave it out and then address it in the next one, address it in case law, or, because I'm not going away, I don't think we're going to pull this
you're
off.
going to Syria.
No, well, probably not.
Change your mind, okay.
Well, John's in Syria now, so we got our contact. I'll go visit with him. The borders are closed right now.
I guess I just wanted to say that, yeah, I think we should try to just stay on one topic as much as possible, because any other things we add in are gonna be against us, I mean, if we take out, hot DUIs, and, we might have highway patrol, rallying against us, and, at least we can freaking have it in our homes without fear at this point,
Well, except something just occurred to me. How confidential is the list of who has a medical card?
It's completely confidential. There's literally no.
So
they
the
can't
police can't get a list, because you do realize that under current law, they got a list of who are card
They have to have a
holders.
warrant.
No, they can pull everyone over.
All right, hold on. First of all, it's HIPAA, so it's a health issue, so it doesn't matter. Second of all, we developed it off of the, and I wanted to make it a little bit more secure, but I didn't get into crazy town. But it's developed off of like the California state card, okay, which is the most privacy secure card for medical marijuana in the United States. All it has on the card is your face, your county, the date it was issued, and then your medical marijuana number.
So it doesn't even have
There's no address, there's no name, so you can lose that, and then, they got a face and a number. All right, so what the police officer does, they look at your face, they say, okay, that's your face, and then they call in the number, and then they'll say, that's a valid number.
Oh, I'm not talking about this, I'm talking about the list that's kept.
And there is no list. According to the law, they burn and they destroy the documents that you use to apply, and everything else is sealed. So they can only get it through the subpoena. Yeah, and they're not going to screw it.
They don't want to have that type of lawsuit.